We've spent decades being captivated by sci-fi tales about the rise of artificial intelligence. For better,
You do this for us?
Before you get all teary, try to remember that as a robot, I have to do anything you say.
and for worse.
And I'll be honest, killing you is hard.
Now, the robots have gotten sharp enough to start creating stories themselves, and that's enough to make some human writers a little concerned. Right now, AI is poised to be the next big thing in a bunch of different industries, including the entertainment sector. But the workers the technology might someday replace are fighting to have a say in how it's used, before it becomes too big to stop. Generative AI, meaning AI that can create text, images, and other content, can sometimes feel like a magic box. Give it a prompt, and it'll spit out a more or less correct response, which looks like it's been written by a person. Test answers, movie dialogue, even computer code. AI can seemingly do it all. In reality, most AI models are repeating back correct-sounding responses composed from huge amounts of training data. With a sufficiently large body of work to reference and a list of rules about how to use it, generative AI can come up with new content that resembles whatever it was trained on. On its own merit, generative AI can be a fun tool to play with, but its ability to churn out human-quality work for cheap has a lot of artists and writers very worried.
It was something that people thought was cool and they wanted to dabble with, but I don't think people realized until recently that writers view AI as a threat.
Brian Sullivan is a lawyer who specializes in crisis management for the entertainment industry. He says some of his clients are just starting to realize how AI might reshape the way movies and television shows are made.
I was working with one AI company and a production company that they were going to have a script written based on a certain director, and they just taught the AI all the movies that the director had done and the style and the language.
Artificial intelligence isn't going to replace screenwriters wholesale anytime soon, but the technology could give production studios a cheap way to underpay their current writing staff.
The studios could cut the first layer of writing out by using an AI system and then hiring a writer to do a polish, which is a lot less money. The studios are saving money and the writers are losing money.
The potential threat of AI is one issue behind the Writers Guild of America's most recent strike. Part of the union's demands when they struck aimed to limit studios' ability to use AI to cut costs on projects.
The thing they want to do is to eliminate more writers from more rooms and just have AI be doing drafts and maybe one or two writers in the room fixing all of them. I mean, that's BS. They're just taking away more jobs.
AI fears also partially motivated actors to walk off the job alongside the writers.
If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines.
The Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, has pushed for actors to have more control over how their performances can be used by AI, citing concerns that the tech could cheaply replicate distinctive parts of an actor's work.
They proposed that our background performers should be able to be scanned, get paid for 1 day's pay, and their company should own that scan, their image, their likeness, and should be able to use it for the rest of eternity in any project they want with no consent and no compensation.
The demands join a growing chorus of alarm bells about the potential dangers of AI. Tech leaders in the field have long expressed concerns about the ways artificial intelligence could be disruptive, and governments are starting to take a closer look at regulating AI use. As with a lot of new technology, it can be tough to know where to draw the line between effective use and harmful abuse. And the game-changing potential of AI has a lot of people very excited to try the technology out for themselves.
AI is sucking the oxygen out of every conversation. Anywhere I'm at in LA, everybody's talking about AI.
Taryn O'Neill is a writer-director and co-founder of the climate and science advocacy group Sirens. She's utilized AI as a research aid in her own writing, but also shares a lot of the writers' concerns about the tech.
I think it's imperative for the survival of this industry and for storytelling in general that we have a human-centric control and approach to technology integration in Hollywood.
Writers in Hollywood have already seen their contracts and opportunities shrink in the face of studios' efforts to save money. Establishing more robust and better paid writers' rooms is a core component of the WGA strike. In that environment, it's hard not to look at AI in Hollywood as less of a creative engine and more of a cost-cutting measure.
If you see an efficiency tool that's going to lower your costs, allow you to cut 20% of your workforce, and that will make your board happy and Wall Street happy, then you're going to do that. They are of an efficiency quantitative mindset.
What's more, the sorts of tasks AI might be able to handle are currently being done by entry-level jobs for writers just starting out in the industry. If those positions dry up, the future of Hollywood's storytelling ability might be in jeopardy.
Because it is a trade, it is a craft you learn on the job. And so if there's no entry-level point, the industry itself will fall apart because the foundation will crumble.
Most of these debates are about the hypothetical threats an AI-dominated future might pose to the entertainment industry, but there are people working with the technology today who are hoping to take it in a much more positive direction.
You can't really make a film without these impossible amounts of money. And I really see generative AI as a way to drastically reduce the cost of filmmaking for independent filmmakers, and also as a way to help screenwriters scale their efforts.
Mike Joya and Ian Eck are two of the co-founders of Pickaxe, an AI startup aiming to provide a platform to help people easily use large language models. Their platform gives users a simple-to-use dashboard for accessing popular AI tools like ChatGPT. And creative writing is one of the company's main focuses. AI might be capable of a lot, but it doesn't work on its own. It still takes a human to figure out how to get the best output out of the algorithm. For Joya and Eck, working with AI takes a lot of creativity and innovation in its own right.
It feels not quite like you're talking to a sentient being, but you're more talking to raw, unconscious, unfiltered creativity. It's kind of unbounded and kind of scary a little bit, but exciting.
The Pickaxe team is upfront about the fact that AI isn't good enough to replace screenwriters. They're anticipating the technology one day will create new opportunities for a wider range of people, who'll use AI tools to augment their own creativity.
You might be onto something there, a synergetic relationship between AI and human writers.
They're also hoping AI's potential for empowering creators will offset any disruptions it causes to the industry. Neither Joya nor Eck think much of the current Hollywood system AI could threaten.
Those are not jobs where you get treated very well, and it's not a very fair racket as far as who moves up. So I think this will actually democratize art and let more people make more things.
It opens a lot of doors, and I'm sure it will also close some doors as well. The landscape is just going to shift.
Technological disruption can be a hard thing to grapple with. Figuring out whether a new technology will create more jobs than it automates away is tough to predict. But if generative AI takes hold in creative industries, it's almost certainly going to change the nature of how content creation works.
There's this new need, I think, to define roles for writers relative to these new mediums, because it's not just new models of storytelling, they're new models of production overall.
Rachel Joy Victor is a designer and strategist who works with emerging technologies.
There are all these new formats that start to bleed the line of where writing is, and make sure that those are considered creative outputs as well, and that writers are part of that conversation.
The principles behind generative AI don't just apply to the written word. Depending on the tool and the training data, artificial intelligence can generate visual art, animation, and video. Crucially, these tools don't require traditional creative skills to operate, just the ability to coax useful material out of an AI algorithm. The emerging skill of prompt engineering could flatten out a lot of the more specialized creative work that's previously gone into making entertainment. Increased reliance on AI in the creative fields won't make human creativity obsolete, but Victor says the technology could force writers to redefine their role in the entertainment process.
The chief concern is, what are the business models around writing and how writing is valued and how writers are viewed as a part of the process? And I think as we figure out the answers to those questions, the role of AI will kind of be figured out as a part of it.
There are many potential futures, good and bad, for artificial intelligence and entertainment. But a lot of the skepticism from writers today stems from how it's already being used in the entertainment industry.
My biggest fear with the rise of AI is not that AI is going to take my job. It's that it is going to make my job harder, more tedious, for less money and less credit.
Helen Silverstein is a video game writer and the co-chair of DSA LA's Hollywood Labor Committee. She's seen firsthand companies attempt to substitute AI for human writers.
Already, I have run into several situations where they have said, oh, we tried to have ChatGPT write this for us, but it didn't work.
Video games don't have the same level of unionization as the film and TV industries, and video game studios have been quick to jump on the AI bandwagon, with new tools attempting to automate menial writing tasks. There are plenty of other industries who are looking for ways to replace their human workforce with cheaper AI programs, even if the robots aren't always up to the task yet. And while the promise of new jobs in the future enabled by this technology is still out there, that doesn't erase the anxiety workers feel about their current lot. Given those parallels, writers who already feel mistreated by their employers don't have a lot of faith in how those studios will use AI. Creative jobs are still jobs, and on the lower end of the scale, they're not particularly glamorous ones.
There are so many writers who, despite writing on Emmy award-winning shows, are on food stamps. The fight of the WGA is not just about TV writers. It is not just about film writers. It is not just about creativity at all. It's about working people being able to live and create and work and survive and thrive.
There may not be a whole lot workers can do to protect themselves from being replaced. Strikes only work when AI isn't developed enough to cross the picket line. WGA's strike might be their best shot at regulating the technology while they still have some leverage. It's important to remember, this fight isn't so much about AI itself as it is about who's using it and for what. It's impossible to separate the potential AI has from the profit-driven commercial context it's developing around.
In a perfect world, advancements in technology like ChatGPT would make everyone's lives better, would make everyone's lives easier. And instead, a lot of these companies want to replace the creators with the AI learning model because they don't have to pay an AI learning model as much.
Generative AI is still in its infancy. It's hard to know how the technology will develop from here. What we can predict are the systems that surround it, how various industries are angling to use the technology, and the disruptive impacts those uses could potentially cause. Given AI's rapid development potential, the cultural and legal battles happening now will shape how this tech is utilized for years to come. Strikes and protests from workers might not change how the technology behind the AI develops, but they can try to shape how it's used by the profit-driven industries around them.
They plead poverty, that they're losing money left and right when giving hundreds of millions of dollars to their CEOs.